Yeah, here we go.
We are live.
In world.
Talkin Sports on a Thursday. Not a Wednesday, but a Thursday. But that's okay. We got to get it in every week for you guys. I was just commenting on Rob's amazing uniform choice here. Got the Braves on.
Nice.
Representing, which is always good, in spite of.
John Smokes jersey.
That's impressive. Okay.
Yeah, John Smokes jersey.
You should have told me. I've got my World Series Jorge Soler jersey. Yeah, I got his jersey, man. So that's a great jersey to have too, man. So World Series winner right there. So I'm a fan of that, man. Gary Rock.
I've spent a good bit of my adult life in Atlanta, so it's only the Falcons and the Georgia Bulldogs who I hate. So I root from the Braves a little bit. It's just not when they play the Yankees. I even root for the Hawks, just not when they play the Pelicans, of course, right? But yeah, it's just the Falcons and the Georgia Bulldogs who I hate.
Appreciate that, Rob. We'll talk more about this later. Looks like Gary's rocking the Miami Hurricanes. How you feeling, Rob? I mean, Gary, I'm sorry. How you feeling, Gary? RB right together.
I wasn't sure if I was going to get this whole thing up and running. So far, so good. A few dirty looks in Alabama with my Canes gear on, but,
Well, just think if you'd had Auburn gear on, they might have would have attacked you. So, good thing you in Miami and not Auburn gear.
Yeah, he's not lying.
I don't have any Auburn gear. Well, I think I've got a jersey.
You don't want no Auburn gear.
I don't hate Auburn.
Hey, Cam Newton says hello, by the way. Speaking of that, he's checking in. Cam Newton, I'm just giving you a hard time. It's all good. Hey, let's go around. As we always like to do again, like I said earlier, it's the Thursday edition Talkin Sports. Oh, man. I'm going to check in. Rob, how you feeling this evening, sir?
Man, doing great. Ready to get this party started. Back in Viva Las Vegas here in the Stu studio. And, ready to talk some sports with you guys.
Nice. Gary, I'm going to check in with you because I want to make sure we get you as quick as we can because Gary is having RV life, as they say. So, the Wi-Fi's up and running, man. That's amazing.
Well, it's our little home away from home. We'll be in the RV for, I don't know, a month or so. Maybe 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
We love it. Hey, Rob, the reason why Gary had to make it work was because he wanted to talk about the George Pickens trade. That's why he wanted to jump in. He is so excited to talk about this amazing deal. So Gary's like, I have to be on the show tonight to talk about this breaking news. So again,
I know you're going to be on. That's why I put your name next to that topic. But of course, that's yours.
But we'll talk about it in a quick second. Let me get the particulars out for those that want to follow us. And we are missing JQ. Hopefully JQ will join us next week as always because we always appreciate his colorful and amazing analysis. But without further ado, always got a couple ways to follow us, and we're going to leave them. I'm going to get everything going in a quick second. You want to obviously reach out to us. We got a couple ways. And the first one that you can do is obviously follow us via we are on obviously the socials here. So if you go to X or Twitter, we are at the number 12 THMAN Sports. YouTube, we are at another 12 Man Sports. And last but not least, we actually are on Facebook where we are broadcasting in addition to YouTube. So if you go to facebook.com/Talkin Sports with 12 Man, if you put 12 Man Sports, you will find us in that arena as well. So let's have some fun here. Let's get this party started. And Rob, I guess like we basically had a topic just for Gary. So Gary, what are your thoughts on the George Pickens move to the Cowboys?
Well, I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move for the Cowboys, and it's a good move for this young troubled brother that was playing with a team that didn't have a quarterback. Of course he's frustrated. Didn't have a quarterback, so now he's got a quarterback. If Dak can stay healthy, he averages 15 yards per.
I know, Rob. He's giving Dak some props.
Yeah, that's how kind
Well,
of shot.
Dak does like to throw it deep. He's got a decent deep ball.
Okay.
And I think he's gonna have some time. I think with this offensive line, I think he's gonna have some time if he's gonna have some potentially a running game to back up that thing. So I think this will be a win-win both for the Cowboys and for Pickens.
What is going on? Wow. Rob, are you in shock? I am.
Yeah, we got to make sure we record this day. Today is exactly May 8th, 2025, and Gary has declared that the Cowboys have a quarterback by the name of Dak Prescott. Right?
And you're right. And I've dissed on Dak, and he's deserved it. But he's not like these top 5, top 10 quarterbacks where they can do a lot on their own. He's one of those quarterbacks that's in that next group down that if he's got that offensive line around him and he's got some weapons and he's got a running game, he can be a successful quarterback in the league. As it stands right now, there's no injuries. Nothing has happened. So as it stands right now, I think the Cowboys are now in that conversation for a playoff team. And with what they've done, can compete with the two teams in their division, the Washington Commanders, and
oh, did we lose Gary?
Oh, we lost Gary there. Sorry.
Right in the middle of that amazing situation he was going to give us the teams to compete with. Yeah, but hopefully we'll get him back on in a quick second. But Rob, are you kind of agreeing with what Gary was talking about as far as the adding the weapons and kind of what Dak's been missing?
Yeah, I like the move for the Cowboys, right? And look, you got to swing. You got to take some chances and swing if you're going to be successful in an organization. They're not going to always work. But if you're the Cowboys, now you got CeeDee Lamb, you got George Pickens. There's no question about George Pickens' talent as a wide receiver, right? If he's got it between the years, I mean, that gives Dak Prescott 2 elite weapons on a perimeter. They drafted Tyler Booker to help improve their offensive line too, right? And you know they already got a playmaker on defense, Michael Parsons, as well. So no, you have to take these kind of chances as an organization if you're going to be successful. And like I said, they don't always work, but on the surface, this is a big win for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. Having, like I said, CeeDee Lamb and now George Pickens all of the you got to look at the teams in the division right now, right? You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they got Jalen Hurts, they have A.J. Brown, Devontae, Dallas Goedert, and Dallas Titans, right? Saquon Barkley. So they're loaded with all kinds of weapons. And if you're going to try to keep up with these teams, you're going to be able to score points. Washington, Jay Daniels, right? They're going to have that Eagles team. So already have a big time receiver in their offense as well, right? And so I mean, you got to be able to score points. And so this is Cowboys. They got to make some kind of splash. Steelers will go pick up on
Can you hear his mic, Gary, or is that something that am I a little?
No, I can't hear your mic, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. So yeah, we kind of heard
you were in and out.
Yeah, so just make sure we get that. We want to hear your voice too as well, my guys. So yeah.
Oh, can you all hear me? Andre, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's perfect now. Yeah, that's good right there.
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect.
It was just weird. It kind of like dropped off for a quick second there. So
okay. Do I need to repeat myself? Or?
What was great about it, as soon as you started talking about Philadelphia, it started screwing up, which is exactly what I want their organization to do this next football season. Anyway.
That was perfect, Gary. That was perfect. It was like, this is Philadelphia. Couldn't hear anything.
Well,
I'm like, yes.
I know Gary doesn't want to hear this, but basically what I was saying in order for the Cowboys to compete with Philadelphia and Washington, they're gonna have to be able to score some more points, right? So getting the acquisition of George Pickens gives Dak Prescott another weapon on a perimeter.
Yeah.
Like I said, we know what the Eagles have: Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert to go along with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
And that offensive line that they have, right? Then Washington, Jaden Daniels might be one of the more exciting young quarterbacks in the NFL, right? And they just got Debo Samuel to go with Terry McLaughlin, right? So yeah, they have some weapons and they can score points too. So you have to be able to score some points if you're going to be able to compete in that division.
Absolutely.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's the thing. You nailed it at the beginning, Gary, because he's a talented player. Obviously, pretty frustrating to see how he was kind of going off against the Steelers, and now, as you said, he gets a quarterback. CeeDee Lamb. I've had some memes whenever they were kind of going back and forth, but CeeDee Lamb is probably ecstatic now because you have another weapon to kind of like take some pressure off of you. And, now they are a really great duo. We'll talk about some of the best passing trios in the NFL. And Gary, I think, I don't know, Rob, if you meant like now or in history, because in history, it does kind of remind you of, back in the day whenever Aikman had the triplets, obviously now not having if you want to add a running back or if you want to add a wide receiver, it can go either way. Cause obviously you had Aikman, you had, Michael Irvin, and you had Emmitt Smith. You want to add Alvin Harper in there, I guess you can, but
yeah, I was actually talking about now in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can obviously talk about history as well.
The one that really is the best is what they've got in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
of course, you had to do that. Of course, we got to talk about that.
Please, I mean, anything else is, not even close.
Yeah.
You're right. The Bengals, Joe Burrow. Jamar
Yep.
and T. Higgins. That's definitely the best trio in the league. We talked about the Eagles already, and of course Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. I would put them number 2. And one to watch this year is the Rams: Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and so that's one to watch this year. The Lions, of course, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra. And Jameson Williams. And then number 5 is Dolphins. And with Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jaden Waddle. And I think maybe the Cowboys could be knocking on that door too.
Obviously, you got to look back at if you want to really, if you're talking junk, you got to look at the Buccaneers, basically, so the 2 in our division too, with Baker Mayfield, Evans, and Chris Godwin. So, but again, it's a situation where you try to be objective here. So, and obviously look at top 5. I like what we got coming up too, again, with Drake London, Mooney, and Penix, but it's still early. It's still early, guys. But, again, I had to put that in there in that chat as well. Let's talk about the Steelers. And since JQ's not on, he can't talk. He can't talk junk. I don't want to talk F him. That's what JQ would say. But what is the Steelers' plan right now, Rob? What do you think is happening right now as far as the quarterback play? I mean, is Kirk Cousins in there, man? Come on, man. Let's figure this out, man. Help me out with the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, they're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. I definitely don't think they want to go in the season starting Will Howard at quarterback or Mason Rudolph, right? I mean, they're set up for failure. They'll be automatic last place in that division. And so obviously they're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. And maybe if Aaron Rodgers decides to retire and not go to Pittsburgh, then maybe you kick the tires with Atlanta and Kirk Cousins, right? But obviously, if Kirk Cousins was part of the equation, I'm sure that's something they've already done with Atlanta. So I think they're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers to give them an answer. There's no way they're going to go into the season with Will Howard or Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback in next year. That'd be 4-13 or 5-12 if that happens.
With that organization, they've always been an organization that has a plan, that has a contingency plan, that they're that solid organization, really one of the gold standards in the NFL. And I'm surprised that and maybe they do, we don't know what it is in the event that Rodgers says no or whatever, or maybe they've talked with him and they just haven't announced it yet. I don't know, but it seems to me like they're just hanging everything on Aaron Rodgers, who's kind of fickle anyway.
Right.
And that just doesn't sound like the Steelers that I grew up hating.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it nevertheless.
Yeah, I mean, all good points. Definitely, we'll see what happens. The Steelers, maybe, Gary, they're trying to wait and see what happens with certain quarterback situations. Dare I say what happens with Shador, even though they could have drafted him, or, who knows what's going to go on as far as if somebody gets hurt or what happens as far as some releasing that goes on. But I agree with you, Rob. It's definitely a gamble. I don't think you want to go in the season with Will Howard and or Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterbacks right now. But
unless that is their plan,
unless they're trying to be smarter than everyone else, but the price could go up. That's the thing.
Well, what I'm saying is, let's say that they do go in with one of those third string quarterbacks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they go, 3-14 or 4-13 or whatever, that could be. Now you're in the running for one of those quarterbacks that's coming out next year. Maybe that's their plan all along. Maybe they're really not depending on Aaron Rodgers.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, you got to have a bridge person, and there's a couple of different ways we can do that. But I agree with you. Like I said, we'll see. I mean, I know Rob will talk about the 2026 top 32 prospects for sure, and there's a lot of quarterbacks. So
and the reason why I said that is this: they just didn't give away, but they traded away a good weapon for Aaron Rodgers to the Cowboys. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that they may not have Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of this season, and they may just let's go with what we've got.
But they don't make a trade for DK Metcalf if they're not planning on being a contending team next year, right? If you're not planning on being a contending team, you're not going to trade your second-round pick. You're going to keep that second-round pick and draft a player for the future, right? So I personally still think they're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. They still think they can compete. Otherwise, they don't trade a second-round pick to go get DK Metcalf as your receiver. And so, I mean, I don't think that's their plan. I think their plan is they still want Aaron, and if that doesn't happen, I think the only other option is Kirk Cousins.
Let's go. I'm kind of joking. I mean, and again, I don't necessarily. I know this is going to sound weird. I don't necessarily want we don't have to get rid of Kirk because he's a good backup quarterback. I don't know about Easton Stick. I don't know what the heck that is right there.
Nothing.
But exactly. But if we have to make a move, obviously let's get some good value for sure. But Kurt doesn't want to be here. Good riddance, my guy, and we'll figure it out too. So let's talk about another interesting scenario. Let's talk about some rookies that will have or make the biggest impact. So I'll let you guys go, Rob, and kind of start with you, and then Gary, think about who you say your team or who you think is going to make the biggest impact so far for the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go through some of the early picks in the draft. I look at Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is going to have a solid rookie year, but I think you're going to see him get better maybe in year 2 and year 3. And so I think with Cam Ward, you got to look at the long-term picture with him. So I'm not going to necessarily say he's going to have a huge immediate impact. I don't know if he comes in and lights the league up on fire like Jaden Daniels did on last year. So I think one who I think will have a huge impact right away is Travis Hunter, right? Dual threat, wide receiver, cornerback, Colorado. I think you're going to see him on the field a lot.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Colorado do a lot. Jacksonville do a lot of great things with him on the football field. Congratulations to Travis, by the way. He just graduated from the University of Colorado, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. congratulations to Travis. And another guy I think is going to have a big impact, Abdul Carter, right? I mean, I think this guy has got similar kind of impact to number 11 with the Cowboys, right? I think you're going to see a guy that can rush the passer. This guy had 24 and a half tackles for loss last year and 14 sacks. I mean, that's insane. So I think he's going to have a big time impact. I think the offensive linemen in the first round, obviously those guys are going to come in and start right away. When you look at Will Campbell from LSU going to New England, when you look at Armand Mimbo from Missouri going to the Jets, when you look at Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas going to the Saints, I mean, those three guys are going to be plug and play. And Tyler Booker for the Cowboys. Those offensive linemen are going to be plug and play guys. They're going to start day one on those offensive lines. So, so expect them to have an impact right away. But you got to look at Ashton Jeanty. I think Genty's going to be the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL. He's just going to be a dual threat guy. Catch the ball out of the backfield, run it between the tackles. I think Pete Carroll on that team's got a great vision and a great plan for him. And I like Abdul Carter as the defensive player of the year in the NFL. So that's what I kind of like. I know Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver from Carolina, was a top wide receiver on the board. But I'll tell you a guy who I think might be the best rookie wide receiver in the draft, Matthew Golden from Texas.
Yeah.
Day at 23, right? I think this is going to be Green Bay it's been a long time since they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. Yeah. And I think he's exactly what Green Bay and Jordan Love needs. I think he makes a huge impact. I think he will be the best rookie wide receiver in the NFL next year, just my opinion.
Offensive impactful players. I had Golden and I had Gentry as my two guys that I thought would really come in and play the game and dominate their positions. So those are my two picks right there. Of course, when you get those offensive linemen that can come in and plug and play and be a starter and be effective, like we're anticipating with our guy Booker, I'm excited about that. But those are the three players that I really am watching.
Yep, I like the running backs too. I like Amari and Hampton for the Chargers because I think he's in a good situation with Jim Harbaugh. He wants to run the ball, so you have a guy that is going to put him in the best situation. Chargers needed a running game to balance out Herbert, so I think that's a good situation. What a great pick for the Chargers. And I agree with you, Rob. I definitely like Gentry. I think he's going to be a good situation because the same thing, you have a strong running game. And Pete Carroll, he knows how to get the best running backs. And Marshawn Lynch's, those great backs, he's like, I'm going to make sure that you get some touches. So it's going to be a good balance with the Raiders. I'm going to be a homer here. And you said who's going to make an impact. And I like both of the pass rushers. I like Jalen Walker and I like James Pierce Jr., man. They got to come in and make some impacts, man, because that defense was so bad last year. I think we can't go anywhere but up if you're a Falcon fan, man. So sorry, Rob, to talk about that, but just I like Xavier Watts. I like all guys. Yeah, go ahead.
They'll wreak havoc. I think they'll be good.
Jalen Walker in particular, I think he could be kind of like a poor man's Abdul Carter. Not as good as Abdul Carter, but a guy who will bring some versatility, who can rush the passer and drop in coverage like you see in Michael Parsons. I think he could definitely be a poor man's Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons, that's why I compared it to.
Ashton, so definitely, I think he definitely brings a lot of versatility. And I think James Pierce will at least be a situational pass rusher. He's got to get a little stronger, as far as stopping the run and things of that nature. But I think he can definitely come in and be a good situational pass rusher too.
Nate Ollie, the new defensive line coach, and I know you guys don't care about this, but his way of he's like, we're gonna attack, and we're gonna have run blitzings. That's the way we're gonna rush, but we're gonna run to those run lanes, and that's where I think they're gonna have more of a 5-man front, so they're gonna literally get everyone in there. So JPJ, James, you can get in there, wreak some havoc, and you can stop the run too. So That way you're not basically having to do like a lot of, one-on-one situations with offensive linemen. You can still get in there, make some moves, and that kind of puts, I think, JBJ and I call him JBJ, James Pearson in a good situation too. But I agree with you about impact. Jalen Walker, I'm surprised he still fell, so we're excited about that. But I digress. Let's talk about the top 5 teams in the NFL here, and this is going to be very interesting. I know, Gary, you're not going to like the top pick, but just because of the fact that they won the Super Bowl, you got to go with them. So, my top 5, obviously, they were the best teams that were in the playoffs, and obviously, I'm going to go with the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Lions to round it out. And obviously, it can be any different combination. And I know how our love-hate for Patrick Mahomes, but again, that's what I've got for the top 5 right now. Now, it's going to be interesting what goes into this year because everyone think they got better in the offseason. So I think it's going to be different whenever the season goes along. But right now, these are kind of some situations where the Bills, are you the guy? Or is just Josh Allen the next step? Lamar Jackson? The Lions, can you improve after losing Ben Johnson? There's a lot of questions going into the season for sure.
Yeah, I got the Eagles still number 1. And look, the Eagles lost some talent, and obviously a lot of times that happens when you win a Super Bowl. From a cap perspective, you can't keep everyone on their roster. You lost Josh Sweat, one of the edge rushers, lost one of the best defensive tackles to the Patriots as well. But they went out and got Jihad Campbell from Alabama, who I think was a sleeper pick in this draft. And he's another guy, I'm very surprised, fell all the way to 31 in this draft as well. And it's same mold as that Jalen Walker, Abdul Carter mold, a freakish athlete. I think about Jihad, he's a little bit bigger than both of those guys too, right? So he can even stop the run a little bit more and hold the edge a little bit too, right? So Jihad, he was a guy I'm really surprised fell this far in the draft. And there we go, the Eagles get steal yet again in the draft and getting Jihad Campbell at 31. That was a huge acquisition for that ball club. So I still like them at number 1. We already talked about the offensive weapons, the offensive line. I mean, they got 2 really good young corners, right? They were both rookies last year, and they were flat out outstanding. Yep, Cooper DeJean, right? Quinshawn Mitchell. So they're really set in the secondary, right? With 2 elite corners already. They just gone into the second years in the league. So they're just really set up. Their roster right now is, even though they lost some players, they're just really stacked. I actually got the Buffalo Bills number 2. And here's the thing. When you go back and look at that AFC Championship game, they just barely lost on the road to the Chiefs. The Bills got to find a way to get home field advantage in the playoffs, right? Right now, Josh Allen, they finally got a running back in James Cook. They went out and got Maxwell Harrison in the draft to help them improve in their secondary, right? I like the Bills here to possibly finally make that step. And I got them at the number 2 position. At the Lions at 3. Look, they got upset in the second round. They ran into the buzzsaw against Washington. But if this Lions team is healthy, particularly on defense, if they obviously with Hutchinson in that group, and if they're healthy, this is a really good football team. So I got the Lions at number 3. I got the Chiefs 4. And look, the Chiefs, they drafted Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. They got to improve that offensive line. I still don't know if they've done enough to improve that offensive line, right? And that's why I dropped them a little bit.
It got exposed.
Yeah. I don't know if they've got enough to improve that offensive line. And look, there's still some offseason. There's still time for trades. We'll see what happens. But then I got the Ravens at the number 5 position. We know about the electricity of Lamar Jackson. And another rookie I like is Malachi Starks. I think he's going to have a big impact for the Ravens right away too. Yeah. Right? So we didn't get that far down in the first round, but I think he has a huge impact for the Ravens.
As I hate to say it, but of course, you win the Super Bowl, you're going to start off the season at the number 1 spot.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they fall to the 6th, the 10th, the 17th, the 23rd, then to the 32nd.
There you go.
That's what I'm hoping for. It's not going to happen. That's what I'm hoping for. But they're the number one team right now. I really like. I don't think though. I'm not. I was going to put Kansas City in there, but they have not done enough. To shore up that offensive line. I mean, they need 3 new guys in there that are powerhouses to protect them, because what we saw in that Super Bowl was Mahomes wasn't Mahomes-esque as we've seen him without some time. That's what happened in the Super Bowl. With that said, they haven't done enough. They're in the top 5, but they're not my number 2 spot. My number 2 spot is going with the Bills, because you're right, Rob. I thought that the running game that they implemented last year was going to be enough, and it wasn't quite, but that's got to leave a horrible taste in your mouth, and especially seeing how, and what Philadelphia did in the Super Bowl. Buffalo wants another shot. So I got Philadelphia, Buffalo, the Lions, the Ravens, and Kansas City in my 5th spot. But any of those combinations are worthy of the 1 spot.
Yeah.
They're not that far away from each other. There's not one that really runs away with, you were talking about the losses that that Philadelphia has had, being the world champions. They've lost some talent.
Yep.
None of those teams are that far apart. So it wouldn't surprise me if any of those combinations were actually there at the end.
Yep.
I mean, like you said, I think some teams have some questions, and going into 2025, it is a new team. So you're going to add some players, you're going to lose some players, and that's why at this juncture, Philadelphia wants, you're going to get that top position. So obviously, Chiefs are hungry, the Bills are hungry, the Ravens are hungry, the Lions. I think, Rob, I know they've got some questions, even though, again, they got some talent, and they ran into Jaden Daniels, but I've got questions. Are they going to keep the continuity after losing, Aaron Glenn and losing Ben Johnson? So that's why I put them in the fifth, because I just think there's questions. They're an extremely talented team, but you are going to you may take a step back because of that continuity is gone. So we'll see. I could be surprised, but that's just, my opinion. Everyone has a great opinion for that as well.
Yep.
I don't think that the Lions are going to take a step back. And the reason why I say that is because they still have that solid defense, which gives their coach those opportunities to say, hey, it's 4th and almost 3, and we're on our own 25-yard line to go for it. Teams just don't know what the hell they're going to do. That element of whether or not they're going to do something on those downs like that wreaks havoc on teams. And at some point, they're going to put all that together. And of those teams that we've talked about, we've all talked about the same 5 teams. That's the team of those 5 teams I would like to see win it. Just because of the steps that they've taken to be in that conversation, and that they've never won it before. They've never been there before.
Never through. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I like your optimism. Same thing. We all got questions, so, but
to touch on the Lions here really quick, you guys definitely bring some valuable input there. I think 2 things here. I don't think they need a kicker and a punter on their roster, because Dane Campbell goes for it on 4th down all the time.
Absolutely. I don't even know their kicker. Who's their kicker?
I watched this game last year. I can't remember. It was mid-season. It was like 4th and 6 on their 30-yard line.
They don't kick, man. I mean, I guess you need a kicker just for kickoffs, right? So I mean, but do they need a kicker and a
That's a
punter?
wasted roster space, Rob. It's a wasted roster space.
He doesn't believe in kicking field goals
Get
or
an extra
punting.
blocking tight end.
There it is.
But and, you know, Andre, you bring up a valid point about the coordinator situation, right? I think what might happen, what you might see happen, there might be some continuity issues in the beginning of the season. But I think once you get past week 4, I think the new coordinators start to gel with it because they got just so much talent on that team, right? When you look at the 1-2 punch they have a running back, look at the receivers they have on the perimeter, and then we didn't even talk about Sam Laporta, one of the best offensive lines in the league, right? And then if they can get their defense last year was really banged up in the playoffs, right? They had a ton of injuries. The key for them is going to be a healthy football team come playoff time, right? And if they're healthy, I don't, you know, I think you and I can go out there and coordinate this team, right? Because when you look at their personnel, man, the offensive line, I mean, as long as the position coaches are still there coaching these players, I mean, we can go and call the plays.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, they just got so much talent. I think the key for the Lions is going to be is their health on defense come playoff time, and that's what really did them in. I mean, they just could not slow down Jaden Daniels in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
we'll put a pin in that, and I think, like I said, Rob, I just want to say that I do think it's a little bit more than we think because Ben Johnson had a special relationship with Jared Goff, gave him a lot of confidence. So I just wonder how that's going to transition because you do have to have another coordinator come in and call certain plays, and you know maybe it is like it takes some time. I'm not going to say they're going to fall off the face of the earth, but I do have questions. Is what I'm saying too. I put them in the top 5. I just wonder how that's going to happen because who the coordinator is. Jared Goff, had a great relationship with Ben Johnson. So we'll see how that plays out. That's all I'm saying. So good stuff. Let's talk about the Texans and Jaden Higgins. He actually signed as a second-round pick. He signed a historic deal. It's fully guaranteed, a 4-year, $11.7 million contract. And the reason why it makes it pretty significant is because normally second-round picks don't get fully guaranteed stuff, right? He's only the second in history, right? First round gets some normally fully guaranteed. This is a significant investment because obviously it demonstrates the Texans they want to invest in Higgins' career, but also I think Rob, Gary, that they have a need at wide receiver, right? Stephon Diggs on the Patriots, Tank Dell's come from India. They're having a problem getting wide receivers. So like,
right.
For all they're going to put everything into wide receivers because that seems to be a challenge right now with the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on there. And Jaden Higgins, really good player coming out of Iowa, got good size and speed, good hands. Obviously, do I think he's going to come in and be a superstar right away? No, and they didn't pay him like a superstar either. I mean, he got a 4-year, $11 million second-round contract, right? Fully guaranteed. I think he's got potential to be a really good NFL player. I don't think he's going to come in and be guns blazing, be an all-star or superstar right from day one, right? So definitely interesting. So it's what I'm going to be curious to watch is the rest of the teams that have drafted players around where he was drafted. So do the rest of these teams in the NFL have to pay guaranteed money because the Texans did? So that's going to be real curious to me going forward now, right? Because now you talk about the agents of these other players are going to be like, well, they just paid Jaden Higgins guaranteed money. I want my player money guaranteed too, right? So that's going to be really what's interesting to see going forward because that's what it is. We already know that's how these negotiations work, right? When a starting quarterback in the NFL gets a certain amount of money, the next guy that's due is always going to go for at least to match that or a little more. Okay. So if there's players picked ahead of him, obviously they're going to get a little bit more money, but they're going to ask for a guaranteed contract too.
Well, the Texans are one of those teams, like you said, they can't hold on to receiver, and so they made this investment in this young man, and fantastic for him. He's not going to be a Pro Bowl receiver anytime in the next few years, I don't think, especially out of the AFC. I don't see that happening. But I think they need to have continuity. They need somebody that's going to stick around long enough. Now, if I were a manager or president or general manager of an organization and I had a second round talent that was around that, and he was coming to me and agents was coming to me and say, hey, listen, we want a guaranteed contract too. And I go, well, the reason why he's got a guaranteed contract is because they can't keep wide receivers. If you look at our group here, we've got plenty of wide receivers. We're going to give you this contract, but it's not going to be fully guaranteed. That would be a good, argument against that. Whether it would be enough to keep him, then that's on the team. I don't think it's like the quarterbacks or like the running backs way, back in the 90s where they kind of called their own shots and everything like that. I don't think it's going to be any kind of a run like that. I'm sure there'll be a few teams that will fold to that train, that line of thinking, but I don't think it'll be anything that'll be a big issue.
Yeah, just to put a pin on that too. So, obviously, if you didn't remember, the Texans, they traded for Christian Kirk from Jacksonville, so they did get him. They actually drafted 2 wide receivers from Ohio State, Jaden Higgins, and they also drafted Jalen Noel.
Yeah.
So they doubled up. They doubled up as well. So they're like, yo, we got Kirk. We got, unfortunately, it's not looking good for Tank Dell. So, and I wish that he does, have a recovery, but it's just a situation where it's just going to be tough for him. So
they still have Nico Collins, who's a pretty good receiver too, right?
Right, they did, yeah.
The Nico Collins is, he's been playing like a Pro Bowler himself, right? So you still got him on the mix. Yep. And then you add 2 receivers that knows each other well, has some continuity, can work together. And Noel and kids from Iowa State, they're like I said, they were 2 really good college receivers. And I think they're gonna be good pros too. Just don't know if they're gonna be superstars, right? So no, those are good moves to go along with Nico Harris, give them some depth at Nico Collins. I'm sorry, at that position, right? So definitely good picks.
Let's talk about the 2026 draft. Top 32 prospects, Robbie, you want to kind of highlight going into next year?
Yeah. I know I did this either a week ago or the week before, right after the draft. Kind of tweaked it slightly. Still got Arch Manning, number 1. Obviously, we know his story. Eli Payton's nephew could be starting quarterback at Texas, dual threat. Drew Allar, quarterback, Penn State, right? He's got a big-time arm. He's got the size. The key for him is going to be improving his accuracy, right? So this is obviously based on projection and how I envision his game to grow this year at Penn State. So I have him at the number 2 pick. Penn State's got one of the most NFL-ready rosters in college football next season. They're going to have a lot.
Excuse James Franklin.
Yeah, it's going to be key. And look, I'm still picking Ohio State to win the Big Ten, but you can make a case that Penn State might be more talented than Ohio State next year, right? They have a lot of NFL talent on that roster. Lenora Sellers, quarterback, South Carolina, number 3, another dual threat quarterback as well. TJ Sanders, defensive end edge rusher from Clemson. Clemson might have the best defensive line in college football next year, right? They're going to be loaded. They got Peter Woods, defensive tackle as well. They probably got 2 first-round picks on that defensive line. Clemson is another team that's got a lot of NFL prospects on that roster on next year. They'll definitely be the clear favorites in the ACC. Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama. Look, Nick Saban is gone. This Alabama team is another team that have a lot of NFL talent on that roster. And Caden Proctor is expected to be the first offensive lineman off the board. The U, Francis McGowan, offensive tackle from Miami, Florida, the Hurricanes, got a number 6. Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback, LSU, number 7. He's got a big-time arm as well. Has got enough mobility as well, so I got him at number 7. Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State. Look, he's been one of the top defensive backs in college football since his freshman year. So Caleb Downs at number 8. And then we got an Oregon guy, Evan Stewart, wide receiver, Oregon. You're talking about somebody who's blazing fast, right? And so big time potential and receiver. And Nico Amaleva, quarterback, UCLA, transfer from Tennessee to UCLA. He's another guy similar to Drew Allard. Going to have to improve his accuracy, but he's got the arm talent. He's got the mobility. He can run as well. So he's definitely a guy that's a big time prospect as well. So I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Anthony Hill's a guy I like, linebacker from Texas. A lot of versatility. I got him at number 15. Cade Klubnik, quarterback, Clemson. He's number 21 on my board. Jeremiah Love might be the best running back in college football next year. Running back out of Notre Dame
Nice.
as well. We talked about Penn State and Clemson. Drew Shelton, offensive tackle, Penn State, number 23. Blake Miller, offensive tackle, Clemson, 24. Peter Woods, defensive tackle, Clemson, 25. Those are 2 programs that's going to have a lot of NFL prospects on their roster. And I'm not done with Penn State. Danny Dennis Sutton. Penn State's got a good edge rusher every year in the draft, seems like, right? Danny Dennis Sutton, edge rusher for Penn State, number 29. So just want to skip around. I haven't posted that to our Talkin Sports page yet, but I'll make sure that gets posted for our viewers and listeners to be able to see that list.
Good stuff.
Good.
Gary, anything we'll talk about? Knicks up 2 over the Celtics, or you want to leave that to Rob? Crazy.
They're in a do or die situation here.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
The Knicks, man.
They
Did we see this coming?
this next game. This
Did
is
we
a
see this
critical
coming?
game.
We didn't see this coming, did we? At all. Same
No.
thing like the Cavs getting I know Cavs a lot of injuries, but man, like Indiana lights out.
And when we were talking about this, we both, all of us, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all penciled in the East, the Cavs going against
The Celtics.
the Celtics.
Yep, that's what we had. Yep.
And it could be completely different.
Yeah. Gotta play the games. That's why you play the games. Hello.
Yes, it is. I was
shocked,
but I was just hey, just one game at a time, Knicks. One game at a time. Win this next one. That's all you need is one more.
Yep.
Go Knicks.
Yeah. Hey, I'm rooting for New York as well. And look, like Stephen A. Smith's been saying, "Go New York, go New York, go!" Right?
Let's go.
I don't always agree with Stephen A. Smith, but hey, I'm with them on this one. Blue and orange skies. Go Knicks. And man, these have been some incredible games. I mean, Knicks came back from 20 points in both of these games.
Yeah.
And you got to give the Knicks front office huge kudos for going out and getting Mikal Bridges this offseason, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the thing about the Celtics team, they got 2 really good wing players. When you look at Jaylen Brown and when you look at Jason Tatum, right?
Yeah.
And they already had OJ Anunoby, who's a really good defender. Then they went out and got another good wing defender, Mikal Bridges, right? He come up with a huge block at the end of that game last night.
Yeah, I was just about ready to mention that. What a moment right there in Knicks history. Right there.
And look, Jalen Brunson has been the most clutch player in the series so far, right? And he's only 6'3", 6'4", just coming up with huge shots. But the defensive presence of Mikal Bridges, OJ Anunoby, and Mitchell Robinson have been huge for the Knicks in this series. Now, obviously, the Celtics didn't have Kristaps Porzingis. That hurts a little bit as well. But
a little bit.
Yeah. And the one thing I'm going to say here, I'm pulling for the Knicks, but I'm not counting the Celtics out yet. And I don't think you can count, even though they lost both their first 2 games at home. I want the Knicks to win this year. I'm not saying the Celtics are going to come back. I'm just saying I'm not counting them out. And the same with Cleveland. I'm not counting Cleveland out. Cleveland just got to get healthy. We got 3 of the top 6 rotational players out right now, right? Darius Garland, the All-Star point guard, right? Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, and as well as an All-Star. And then you got DeAndre Hunter has been out. So I mean, they got to get healthy. They got the top 3 of the top 6 players out. I mean, that's a huge blow to any team, let alone teams trying to win a championship in the playoffs, right?
Well, with the Knicks, as good as they've played defense on the wings, these next couple of games, the Celtics are gonna come at them, and they've got to be able to ratchet it up. Because I'm not counting the Celtics out either. I'm not. I think the Celtics have a way better chance of coming back in their series than Cleveland does.
Yeah. Well, I think both of them. I don't think you count either one of them out.
Oh no, absolutely. But with the injury issues on the Cleveland side. But I'll tell you what, the Knicks better ratchet it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you what, that garden is going to be rocking.
Oh yes.
Madison Square.
New York.
Amazing.
I mean, New York is the mecca when it comes to basketball. They love the basketball, and the Knicks. I mean, that city is just insane right now, right? So that garden is going to be rocking. And look, you don't want to give the Celtics a chance to get back in this series, and you got to come out and kind of go for it, right? You got to go for the juggler right now as we speak.
This is the real critical game.
Yeah.
They're all critical, but this one is huge for the Knicks.
I tell you, this second round of the NBA playoffs has just been flat out incredible. I mean, both of these Knicks Celtics games down to the wire. The Cavs Pacers down to the wire. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton with that 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah.
I was on a plane flying from Atlanta to Albuquerque watching that game, and man, I mean, just Cleveland looked like they were in control of that game. The entire game, and all of a sudden Indiana just creeped their way back into it. Halliburton hits a huge 3.
Yes.
Even game 1 of the Nuggets and OKC, right? Chet Holmgren missed both those free throws. Yep. And man, Aaron Gordon has got 2 of the biggest shots finishes in this playoffs, right?
Of his career.
He got a missed attempt by Nikola, and he rebounded and dunked it to beat the Clippers. And then he gets a 3 at the buzzer to beat OKC. Now OKC monkey stumped them last night. That was no game.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
They were like, we're gonna teach you. They just unloaded basically right then. Yeah.
I still like OKC in that series, even though Denver did win game 1. Yeah. I'm still going to go with OKC. Yeah. I think with SGA and Jalen Williams, and what I like about this OKC team is they went out and got some key glue guys this offseason, and Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, some guys, and able to free Holmgren up to be like a roamer on defense with his length and his shot blocking ability, right? They had the Hartenstein do all the banging down low and on the defensive end, right?
And he's just frustrating the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, but you keep throwing multiple guys at him, though. You keep most.
Yeah, he's really frustrating him.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I know Minnesota is beating Golden State here. If you're Minnesota, I mean, Anthony Edwards went out of this game in the second quarter. Look, he came back in, so it looked like he must be fine.
Yeah.
If you're Minnesota, you got to win every game while Steph Curry's out. I mean, they ought to be slapped and punched for losing that game 1 game, right? I mean, they couldn't throw it in the ocean. They couldn't hit the side of a barn. And that game, you got to give Golden State some credit for the way they played defensively. But if they don't have Steph Curry, you got to win every single game. I don't care where it is. And that's the attitude Minnesota has to take. You got to take advantage of the fact that Steph Curry is out now.
They're minus the best shooter in the league.
Yeah. And look, I like to see every team play with their best. I'm not a Golden State fan, but I enjoy watching Steph Curry play. He's an incredible player. I like every team to have their best players. I want to see Minnesota beat them with Curry, right?
What I've enjoyed with Steph is not only is he a fantastic shooter, he gets himself their offense around him gets himself in those situations. He's always moving. He's always moving. I'm seeing these other players that are that are good shooters over the last several years that they don't have that movement.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for something else to happen. And
Yeah.
Steph doesn't.
Yeah, we see Marcy's comments. She says tonight's game was horrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was rough.
And look, I know Marcy probably doesn't want to hear this, but if they don't have Steph, Minnesota should be dominating these games. They got more length, they have more athleticism, and they have more size. They should be dominating this game when Steph Curry's not playing.
Heart of the champion, Rob. Heart of a champion. We're gonna go down fighting. We'll see how it plays out. But
I believe they're gonna go down fighting for sure.
Yeah, I'm just being, because I gotta make sure she's okay. But it's it's a tough situation for sure. But they're gonna go down swinging. Obviously, Minnesota's on a mission. Like you said, Rob, Ant-Man looks like he's okay. They decided to wave the white flag, to see how everything plays out. And you wanted to steal a game, which you did. You got lucky here, so now you're going to try to hold court and see how Steph's feeling going into the next next game. So
I mean that Minnesota team, and I'm sure their coach. I know he can't physically punch him or slap him, but they needed to be punched or slapped after that game one performance. I mean, that
was rough. Yeah. We'll see. Still, that's the thing. As much as great as OKC played too, it's only one game, so you got to do it again. You got to keep going.
Yeah, don't count. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, look, Denver won by 2 points in game one. Oklahoma City won by almost 50 in game two. But still 1-1.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Rob, we're gonna wrap this up. We'll wrap this up, guys. Let's talk about the draft lottery and what to expect with that, and we'll get ready to wrap up another great edition of Talkin Sports.
Yeah, the lottery in the NBA is next week. I believe it's this coming Tuesday or Wednesday night, and obviously Gary and I are going to be glued to the TV because I want my Pelicans to win it. He wants his Blazers to win the lottery, right? But Utah's got the worst record in the league, and so obviously they got the best odds of winning the lottery, right? So,
Cooper Flag.
Yeah. So based on the way the teams are positioned right now, I got Cooper Flag going to Utah at 1. I got Dylan Harper, Ron Harper's son, going to Washington Wizards at 2. VJ Edgecombe, shooting guard for Baylor. I got him going to Charlotte. VJ's a young guy too. You haven't really heard a lot about. He's got, he's only about 6'4", but he's got really long arms, really good defensive player. He could really be in that Dwayne Wade kind of mode, possibly, right? And so I got him going number 3 to Charlotte. Got Ace Bailey going to my Pelicans at 4.
Great pick.
Ace is about, some say 6'8", some say 6'9", some say 6'10", but he's a really tall, lean shooting forward. He can really shoot the basketball. Defensive end, he maybe needs to get a little bit stronger, but really good talent.
That's who I wanted.
I like Ace Bailey a lot, man. I like him.
Yeah. Derek Queen, who I think is a traditional power forward. A lot of the power forwards today are stepping out shooting threes, but Derek Queen is a true post player power forward, about 6'9", 6'10" from Maryland. I got him going number 5 to the 76ers. He hit a big game winner in the NCAA tournament as well. Trey Johnson, another player you got to watch. Shooting guard from Texas, scored over 19 points a game as a freshman this past year. Got him going number 6 to Washington. Washington got 2 picks possibly in the top 10. Toronto, Con Knipple, small forward from Duke, right? Really shot the ball really well. He's a guy that's going to give you some elite shooting right away in the NBA. There's some other aspects of his game that he's going to work on to translate. But one thing he will be able to do is shoot the ball going into the NBA from day one. A point guard I really like, Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma. He can distribute the basketball and he can shoot it. I got him on number 8 to the Spurs. Chris Paul can't play forever, so that would be a good acquisition. And then, of course, the big man from South Sudan, Kaman Mulak, center from Duke, 7'2". I mean, he's going to be a shot blocking and rebounding machine. I'm going to Houston, and Houston gets some more size with this pick to go along with they already have. And then Carter Bryant, small forward from Arizona, had a really good year. Got him going to Portland at number 10. And just hop around to the Hawks. I got him taking Jason Richardson's son, right? Now, Jason is 6'3". He's an athletic point guard. With Jason, his dad was like 6'6". But Jason is an extremely good athlete at 6'3" and more of a point guard facilitator. But he's a guy that's a really good athlete, plays some defense too as well. And I know the Hawks got a second. I got the Hawks taking Thomas Sober, center from Georgetown. Yes, Georgetown used to produce big time centers back in the day, right? Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, right? Odella Harrington. They had a lot of big men who they were putting out into the NBA. And finally, they got another guy that's going to go in the first round, and Thomas Sober, the 6'10" center from Georgetown. So I have him going to the Hawks with their second first-round pick.
Good stuff, man. If there's a will, there's a way. I'm hoping that my guy from Duke falls to 13. I'm hoping and praying because I think we're gonna get that pick from I think it's from the Kings or whatever. We got a pick. And then we got the pick from the Lakers too. So I'm hoping. I like Jace, but I think we need some size, man. And I'm not a fan. 6'10" is all right. We need like a 7-footer. We need to be like OKC, man. We need to get length, man. We got to get some shot blocker.
Danny Wolf from Michigan too, 7-footer. I actually have him going 21 right before Atlanta in 22 too. So he's another option.
Yeah, we need some big guys. We need some big guys. We don't need any more some centers like shot blockers, some length because we're running into some challenges. So I would double up like the Falcons, get 2 7-footers, call it a day. We got
many of those to get 2 of them.
What'd you say, Rob?
That's not many 7-footers for you to get 2 of them.
I know. That's just me being facetious here, but we want to get some size. Just to OKC is the model, man. They got some length, man. So I'm tired of having.
Yes, they do.
I'm tired of these little teams, man. We got Trey, and obviously I like Jaden, Dyson Daniels. I like what we got in the Rishishay. Aneka Okongwu, he's good, but sometimes I
like him a lot.
Yeah, I think he should be more of a power forward, but I worry whenever he goes against bigger centers, So that's the biggest thing too, that you gotta help him out with some size. So again,
he plays hard though, man. Man, he's an effort guy. Plays hard.
Absolutely.
He's improved his scoring ability, rebound block. I like his game.
Yeah, same thing. But
that's one of those glue guys. That's one of those guys you want on your team.
He's great. He's great. But I'm just saying we need some size, man. So that's double up, man. Just get some 7-footers. I know Portland's got enough of them. Portland, why don't you give us some? Don't you got Ayton? You got Klingon, and you got who else you got? Who else you got?
We got not enough is what we got.
We got like 3 like big men over there. Give up something. I'm messing with you, man. But it's just interesting to see how Portland's kind of like they're stockpiling a couple of those big men. It's like I love it. So, but yeah, good stuff, Rob. The lottery it's coming next week. We're excited about that. Are you a fan of
that number 1 pick?
Are you a fan of so Gary, you want Ace Bailey more than obviously either Flag or Ace Bailey is kind of who you like for the Pelicans, or excuse me, the Blazers.
For the Pelicans, hell no.
I'm sorry for the Blazers.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I was looking at Rob and I was thinking about
absolutely.
Well, Pelicans, we need Cooper Flag.
You can't get 2 Dookies, man. You already got Zion, so there you go.
You got Zion.
We'll take them. Hey, I don't like Duke, but once these guys get in the NBA, if they're on my team, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
I'm not like JQ. He don't want no Michigan players. I want the best players. So Cooper, come on down to New Orleans, baby. We're gonna feed you good.
That dude is gonna end up.
Yeah, they will. He will on a visit from Portland. Yeah, it'll be nice. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, he'll go to Portland just to visit Nike, and then he'll fly in New Orleans, come play for the Pelicans. You're right.
Oh gosh, Rob, come on. You're not being cooperative, Rob.
I am curious to see what happens, Rob. Like surprises, and like you said, I am a huge after Cooper Flag. Like I said, I've said it enough. Like I think Ace Bailey is going to be really good. So if Ace ends up with the Pelicans. That's going to be interesting.
Who's that? Rob, I got one question. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, good.
Rob, who is that diamond in the rough? Who's that one guy?
I don't know if I would call him a diamond in the rough, but Trey Johnson from Texas, man, he's another guy. I got him going 6 right now to Washington. I mean, he averaged over 19 points a game. I know everybody's talking about Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, B.J. Edgecombe, and Ace Bailey is like the big 4 in this draft. But I like Trey Johnson a lot from Texas. I tell you another guy I like right there in the Atlanta area, Asa Newell, power forward from Georgia.
He's great.
Yeah. I got him going number 18 to Washington. Washington's got 3 first-round picks. So that's another guy. And from an international perspective, Nolan Troa, point guard from France. Now, this time last year, I had him going in the top 5 in this year's draft. It's kind of fallen off a little bit. I got him going 19 to the Brooklyn Nets, and he's another guy. And one more I got for you, Bougie Flan from Arkansas. Right, he got hurt most of this past year. Elite prospect coming out of high school, 6'2" point guard. I mean, he's got speed and quickness galore, can handle the rock. I got him going 24 to Oklahoma City. I even throw in one more. Walter Clayton Jr., who just won the championship at Florida, right?
Yeah.
Poor man Steph Curry, he can shoot the ball. He won't be as good as Steph Curry. I got him going 25 to Orlando right there. But he's another guy I think is going to be able to come in. I envision him being a backup point guard in the NBA that's going to be able to come in and help the second unit right away and can give you some bench scoring and shoot the basketball.
That's all you need. You got to get that depth, man. And I know some teams were a little scared off of him. He had a good second half, obviously, in championship game. The first half was pretty rough, but he kind of pulled it off and make some big shots to push forward and to win the championship. That was good stuff too, man. So yeah.
Janai Broome, too, from Auburn. I got him going 30 to the Clippers.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the best players in college basketball last year. He's a below-rim player. That's the only reason why he's going to go kind of late. You know, the NBA, you got to have some athleticism and being kind of an above-the-rim player. His game is more below the rim, and so that's why he'll probably be more of a role player in the NBA.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, it's been a great time. We can go ahead and wrap this up as always, as we like to do, man. It's been fun. We missed out on JQ joining us, but that's okay. That's okay. We're here, so let's wrap this up, bro.
Let's go next week. Stay tuned. We posted on our show for next week. You don't want to miss it. Of course, we'll be talking more NBA playoffs, maybe a little NHL, MLB, of course, NFL. We'll keep you posted. You don't want to miss us on next week. Hey, we want to hear from the Northeast, right? New York and Boston. These 2 cities hate each other in every sport, right? They hate each other in basketball. They hate each other in baseball. They hate each other in football. They hate each other in hockey. They hate each other in every sport. These are 2 rival sports cities. We want to hear from New York and Boston on next week's show. So make sure you all tune in and also write us as well. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And next week, hopefully the line stepper, JQ, will be back on with us.
He's not just a line stepper. He's a capital H habitual line stepper.
That was for you too. That was for you too. That was for you. That was for you too, man. That wasn't for JQ. That was hilarious, man. He's not here to do
line stepper. Yeah.
We missed you, brother.
Hey, we want to hear from the NL East in baseball too. Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York. We want to hear from y'all.
Shout out to Drake Baldwin. He did a nice walk-off tonight, man, to get that score. I was the Albies. I was texting JQ. He's at the game. They obviously won whenever JQ was there, but they won tonight. What a great win. Drake Baldwin, young catcher, doing some great things too, man. We're going to have some fun. Hey, we appreciate you guys. I know we like to joke about Albuquerque and the Balloon Festival, so shout out to that. Chargers,
y'all picture.
Fun stuff. What is that, Rob?
Sent y'all a picture right outside of my resort in Albuquerque.
100%.
They were going up in a hot air balloon.
You should be lucky,
Oh, yeah.
American. Rob hasn't mentioned his Albuquerque obsession or his asparagus, obsession, but it's all good. We'll keep it going. See, guys. I'm
Well,
happy about your walk awards, Gary. Good job. It's good. It's good. Be safe on the road as always, Leonardetta and
Thank
Lana.
you.
Be good, guys. See you next week.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.